title of the talk today is The Middle Way. And the middle way, this is starting on page 101 in our book, if people would like to know that. The middle way is a fundamental Buddhist teaching, and supposedly the first that the Buddha gave. And in this section of the book, we're talking about the middle way as a dialectic, a way that comes from exploring the tension or opposition between two forces or two elements. And we've mapped out in the book seven different meditative processes, and we view them as dialectical opposites. We'll address a few of them, and others pop up throughout the book. So these are the 7 that we created. Holding more and letting go. Metabolizing and being stuck or constipated. Idealizing and demonizing. Quieting and inquiring. Resisting and receiving or being open. Experimenting and staying with the known. Unifying and discerning or finding difference. And I keep using my hands like one is over here, one is over here. That's kind of, that's the idea of looking at the middle way through dialectics, is that they're kind of on ends of the extremes. So we hope that these are helpful, though they don't represent the absolute truth about meditation practice. They're just a way to cut the pie of meditative experience. Knowing and reflecting on them helps us avoid being tossed into tension and opposition, or being afraid of tension and opposition within our meditation sittings. In common parlance, this is this tension is often described as black and white thinking, good and bad, right and wrong. And we may think we're beyond that type of thinking, but it comes up frequently throughout the path. This just never goes away that I know of. So back to the writing. I've mulled over the meaning of the middle way for a long time. Since really I started my spiritual seeking in the 80s. Moderation was a common way to refer to it. But putting it like that led me to a dead end more times than I could count, just trying to be moderate. In reflective meditation, we frame it differently. Using dialectical opposites, those two, extremes, we think that allows us to see a continuum of possibilities and a continuum of things to emerge from between those two. The extremes are potent and necessary at times, and best acted upon sparingly, like a dash of chili pepper in soup. One thing I notice is it's hard to ask questions or to question, to be curious or inquire when someone is on fire with the chili pepper, when someone's at an extreme. Too hot to touch, because it's about certainty, those extremes. They really become a thing. They're very real and true, and they exist. It takes openness and reflection to move beyond certainty and perceive more conditions at play. Here we're back at conditionality, blended throughout the experience. Conditionality questions the certainty and quiets the fires of extremes. One of our dialectical pairs is inquiry and quieting. Sometimes in meditation, we're on fire with ideas, questions, insights, creativity. Other times there's peaceful quiet. We invite each in and know that each one tempers the other. This process differs from intentionally moderating those extremes. We don't ask you to try too hard to do that, and we really don't see a need to do that. We don't tend to routinize, especially in this pair, we don't tend to routinize inquiry. Meditators usually have enough questions of their own, Often these pop up unexpectedly. And this is one of our favorite aspects of meditation. Questions suddenly popping up, questions that matter to us, ways that we can follow our own experience of what perplexes us about the world, about our lives. But some of the questions, they're really decades old, and they don't all go away either. I enjoy perceiving a subtle difference and making discernments. Why does this matter so much to me? Maybe because the situation becomes clearer, or to adapt the words of the Buddha, my eyes become a bit less clouded by dust, a bit like cataract surgery. We can focus in on one thing in spite of the many other things there are going on. Here we're describing a process similar to most conventional meditation instructions, requiring us to focus on one thing at a time. A breath, mantra, or some other object. The body. We don't prescribe that, but we value it in its place. And it recurs naturally in reflective meditation. Another dialectical pair is unifying and discerning. By holding, by holding the body relatively still in meditation, as a matter of course, our attention at times will become inwardly collected and focused. When this happens, there's often an uplift or a downshift. We might gain the capacity to open up to other things with more equanimity, so we can handle our experience with a little more distance, a little more peace, treating everything a little bit more equally. This capacity slowly and subtly develops in reflective meditation, and we encourage staying with whatever comes up in meditation a little bit longer to digest it, to become more aware of it. And we're going a little bit into metabolizing and being stuck, because we really say chew on the metaphors, chew on our things that matter. Really it takes good chewing health, I don't know how else to say it, to metabolize, and it starts in the mouth, and we want it to start somewhere. We want to start the process of metabolizing, because there's an opposite of metabolizing, which is being stuck or getting constipated, and we do get stuck at points. Constipation is a part of many people's meditation practice, and sometimes we don't even know we're stuck, and we resist that label. And often when we resist labels, they persist. I mean, this is like a kind of folklore common metaphor, is that which you resist persists. But we don't like saying when we're stuck, and often we really don't know. Back to the reading. When I was a medical practitioner, I rarely prescribed laxatives or purgatives because they're too harsh and purge away beneficial elements at the same time. So we're really looking at a kind of gentleness again when we're stuck. And I'll end with, we suggest a gentle and organic way to discover the middle way, to engage with dialectical pairs with care and with awareness.